welcome to the DECS Cup Series Tournament of Champions. We're here for race number 2, as we have already shrunk this field from 23 to 15 of the top drivers in the sport, and we're going to shrink that field a little bit further here today. So it should be an interesting battle for sure. Let's take a quick moment to review the tournament structure. We've already narrowed the field down to 15 cars for today's race, and after today, the top 10 finishers in today's race will move on to race number 3. So it's all about being in the top 10 at the end of this race here today. And remember, the drivers are lined up based on their finishing results of round 1, so let's look at our starting lineup. On the pole is the winner, Ryan Blaney, and then he has Denny Hamlin is outside. Row 2 is Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. Row 3 we have Martin Truex Jr., and the highest qualifying Chevy is Alex Bowman. Then we have his teammate Chase Elliott with Kevin Harvick. And then we have Jimmy Johnson in the 48 and Eric Jones in the 20 in row 5. Row 6 is owned by Stewart Haas Racing, Eric Almirola, and Clint Bowyer. Row 7 is Kyle Larson and Darrell Wallace Jr. And rounding out the field is William Byron. So those two rookies did manage to sneak into this second round. But today, the top 10 finishers will be the only ones to move on after this 12-lap race. We are ready to get it started. Race number 2 is green. We are underway. Pretty clean start there through turns 1. Ooh, a little 3 wide right there around 6th place. Keselowski falls back, but up front his teammate Ryan Blaney will lead lap number 1, picking up right where he left off. Martin Truex Jr. moves to the inside of Kyle Busch. He takes that second spot away easily. The two Toyotas trade places down the S's on the back. Here comes Hamlin, now moves up wide. Oh, and he gets turned, hard into the inside wall, and he lands on top of Alex Bowman's car. And a quick wreck here early on as two heavyweights have heavy damage. We have a yellow flag on lap number 3, a big impact for Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin. Let's see what happened. Hamlin came down in front of Keselowski, hit that inside wall, and lifted up off the ground and landed on top of Bowman. Look again, he hits that inside wall, and look at him go right over the 48 of Johnson. Johnson goes right underneath him, and then Hamlin landed on top of Bowman. Luckily, those two drivers are okay. A crazy wreck on lap number 3. The rest of the field now, 13 cars left, battling for those top 10 spots. We'll restart on lap 5. Currently, Clint Bowyer owns the final transfer spot, but you got those young guns, Jones, Wallace, Byron, right behind him. We're ready to go back racing on lap 5. Green flag is back in the air. Blaney continues to lead. Oh, but he gets a tough restart there on exit, and that's going to open the door for Truex to take over the lead. Kyle Busch moves into second. Now 3 wide for third. Here comes Jimmy Johnson to the inside of his teammate Chase Elliott. He'll take that spot as Ryan Blaney's fallen back to 6th now. Those two Hendrick cars looking pretty stout there in the top 5 now as the Penske cars round out the top 6. Still 2 Toyotas leading this thing. Kyle Busch has a mirror full of Jimmy Johnson now as they head through the S's, as we got a lot of drivers trying to move through the field as Eric Jones now spins and loops it around there in the back. Caution will come out for a quick yellow on lap number 7 as Eric Jones, who's looks like he kept it off the wall, doesn't have too much damage, but let's see what happened to him. Getting into the S's there, he just loses control, maybe wheel hop getting in there underneath Bubba Wallace. Good job not getting into anybody else, but Jones is going to lose a couple spots of track position. He's had a rough day. He's going to have to try and turn things around here. We'll restart with 4 to go. Bowyer still holding on to that final cut spot, but the two rookies, Bubba Wallace and William Byron, are right behind him, hot on his tail. Green flag is back in the air. 4 laps to go. Kyle Busch gets a big run on the outside. Oh, now he gets loose. He's going to lose a couple of spots. As up front, Martin Truex Jr. is going to hold on to that race lead. These guys are in a good spot here, looking to move on to round 3. We have 3 laps to go. Let's look back at that cutoff battle. Clint Bowyer still holding on strong on the outside of Larson. Here comes Bubba Wallace. Oh, he gets into Bowyer. And now Darrell Wallace Jr. moves into the final transfer spot as he gets into Clint Bowyer. 2 to go here. Up front, Jimmy Johnson has caught Martin Truex Jr. behind them. Now Bowyer gets into the back of Wallace. He'll retake that 10th spot. Up front to the white flag. Here comes Johnson for the race lead. Jimmy Johnson's going to clear Truex and take over that first position. Now around goes Keselowski. Oh, Keselowski spins. He tries to right the ship, but he gets past. Keselowski's going to fall out of the top 10. Jimmy Johnson's going to win the race, and that means Darrell Wallace Jr. and Clint Bowyer are both going to advance to round 3. A lot to unpack in that finish right there. Jimmy Johnson comes out of nowhere and wins the race after Truex dominated, but look what happened to Brad Keselowski. He's running in the 3rd spot, and he just had nowhere to go when the 78 came down there. And wow, Brad Keselowski's going to cross the line in 13th behind Bowyer, and as a result, Bubba Wallace, who was going back and forth with Bubba, will also make the race. As those drivers all move on to the top 10, you see there Eric Jones, William Byron had a rough day. This track can be tough on young guns, and they were not having much success here today. Keselowski, heartbreak for that 2 car. He finishes 13th. Hamilton and Bowman involved in that big crash. They miss out, but there's your top 10. A pretty stout roster there moving on to round number 3. Let's look at our competitors right here as they have made it through the first half of the Tournament of Champions. We started with 23 cars, we're down to 10, and they're definitely 10 of the best this sport has to offer. Should be very exciting to see what these round 3 contenders can do in a couple weeks. Until then, thank you for watching round 2, race 2, here of the DECS Cup Series Tournament of Champions. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching.